Hey, how we doing? I'm Andy, this is Spiders, and thanks for coming along and watching. And today we've got something a little bit different, something really cool. Now, anybody that's followed my channel for a while will know that when I first started the channel, I had a Deinopis, the ogre-faced spider, or the net-casting spider. Now, that was like the jewel in my collection at the time, and I did buy two, but unfortunately one of them died. I think it was the night overnight. But the other one was a female, and I had her for about a good while, 18 months. Yeah. So I hadn't been over the last couple of years. I haven't been able to get hold of one, and I have looked like. But recently the spider shop got some in, which was really cool. So they had some breeding pairs of the Deinopis cornigera or cornigera, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. So I got myself a pair of them, which I'm going to show you towards the end of this video. But first up, while I was at the Barnsley show, the Northern show, a couple of months ago, I met a guy called Steve Turner, who runs the True Spiders International group on Facebook. Now, Steve also had some Deinopis slings for sale, the Aspectans, I believe these are. So I ordered some. You know, I couldn't miss out the opportunity, so the hope is that I'll be able to bring him on and start a little breeding program here along with other people that have taken some of these slings, and hopefully we'll get a nice little breeding project going from both these slings and the spiders that have come in from the spider shop at the later date. Like, but anyway, I'm going to shut up for now. I'll show you these slings. Like I say, it's all a bit mad. These are tiny little things, but they are pretty awesome. Yeah, so I'll leave it there and I'll see you in a bit. Cheers. Well, I've got to say, this is probably the most excited I've been for an unboxing or for a parcel to arrive all year. Like I say, it was quite fortunate in being able to meet Steve at the show and basically just walking up to him. A bit of a case of, excuse me mate, I hear you've got some gear for sale, if I'm totally honest. As you see, wrapped absolutely brilliantly, packaging was awesome, and this little tub, you may see some little black dots in amongst that white. Believe it or not, they are the slings. I didn't realise myself just how small they were going to be, if I'm totally honest. And yeah, this is definitely will be the smallest communal that I have ever kept. So you can see we've got a couple of them just walking around the rim, or one of them dropping off the rim. I was surprised at how quick they were at that size as well, if I'm totally honest. And there we have another one on the tissue. So if I'm honest, I did just spend a couple of minutes here just having a look, seeing if I could find any more up high in amongst all the tissue, and just seeing what went on with them really. So as you can see, you managed to get some footage of them as they were around the top. I think this one here, I've actually put the lid back on. And again, we've got one just crying around that little blade of grass that was in there, and a couple just coming around the rims. Now this I found really interesting, if I'm honest. You see this one at the bottom, he comes in and you've got those two quite happy and settled at the top there, and this one comes in, almost steals the other one's spot, and you see that one there, just heading off on the left hand side. And then it's almost like they've had a word with themselves or something, and they changed their mind, and they're like, well, hang on a minute, this is actually my web, and you can skedaddle if you don't mind. And you'll see here, the other two get scattered away, and this one just returns back to where it was. Again, I just find little interactions like that absolutely amazing. we go, rehousing them. Now, at this point I wasn't exactly sure how many were in the pot. It turned out there was about 15, I think Steve had put in. There was a couple of, I think there was 2 or 3 that died in transit, and there was one that actually later on, I didn't realise it, but as I was holding a bit of tissue, when I took the tissue out my hand, I actually found one under my thumb, so I was a bit gutted. And you see there was one there that I thought was dead, and then I realised it was attached to a bit of web and saw some movement in its legs, so I just put that one back in with the rest, and I thought we'll just add that into the pot and hopefully it'll be okay, and we'll see how it goes. So the substrate I'm using, what I've actually done is just taken a springtail colony and poured some of the substrate in that, and I thought them springtails will keep the Deinopis going in between the feeds of the miniature fruit flies that I'm going to be giving them. So that you can see we've got a little setup there, just some little places to hang, although if I'm honest they generally tend to just web up across the top and find a position along there. So here I'm just going through each of those strips of the tissue paper individually. Now I think there was about 3 or 4 that were on these bits of tissue and were added in over the course of this, but the majority of them were inside the pot here. Now I aren't going to show them all going in there. I'll show you a few of them and just show you what went on. Like that was the first, and it turned out it was still attached, so I had to be quick with my eyes to make sure I spotted things like that afterwards. And then this one was close to the edge, so that one went straight in. Now we move in this one, you can see it a little bit more active. And then around the outside there was a few that I was able to just pick up with the brush, and then a couple that I just brushed down like that, as you've seen there. There's a few different ways of actually managing to get them in. Here we have another one that clung to the tissue. So I was able to just spot that and drop it back in. Now we'll play a little game. Can you spot the sling? Now it is bang in the middle, pretty much. There we are, just against that leaf. If I'm honest, I didn't expect anyone to see it, but thought we'd try anyway. Here's another shot of one of the others. Just getting themselves settled. And one here, just against the wall of the tub. I'm not sure if it was hunting springtails. And this one here is just in that standard sort of ogre face position where they're just hanging with their 2 sets of front legs hanging down. And there, as you can see, there's already some webbing in place. They must just be laying that from the second that they went in there. And then this is a couple of days later. We had one that had molted out, which was pretty cool. I didn't actually see it molten, I just saw this in the morning. And then we've got this shot of one with its ready-made net. So yeah, how cool are they? Fair dues, little tiny things. I mean, it was like a mission finding them and spotting them all, you know. I did lose a few, as I said. There was one under my thumb that I just didn't realise was there until it was too late. But all in all, there's about 11 I think went into that pot, so hopefully, you know, fingers crossed, we can bring them on and everything will go good with them. Now, oh, fly in front of me face there. So in the meantime, now I'm going to show you this breeding pair that I picked up from the spider shop. As I said, these are the Deinopis cornigera or cornigera, and they're absolutely stunning. And if you hang around till the end, there's an extra little surprise as well. Cheers. So again, I thought we'll skip the unboxing and we'll just get straight to the good stuff. Now these are a hell of a lot bigger than the slings that I've just shown you. Now these obviously, again, these are a different species. These are the Deinopis cornigera or cornigera. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. I'll put it on the screen though. And here we have a little close-up look at her as she comes out and strolls across my hand. I say the one that I had in the past, the female that I've kept previously, was really friendly, and she'd often come up to the top of the tank when it was opened and I was getting ready to feed her and things like that, or doing any maintenance. She'd come up to the top and come onto my hand quite regular. But as you can see, she was getting quite active, so I thought we'll get her enclosure, we'll get her closed away, and there's a little bit of a close-up of her, and we'll move on and have a look at the male and see how he's getting on. Yep, so here we have him. This is the male. You see his body is a lot slimmer. He's a lot more slender than the female. You may be able to make out those pedipalps underneath him already swollen, which tells me that he is a mature male. I have been told that these are pretty much ready to go. Give them 2 weeks, put the male in with her, and they should be ready to try pairing them, and hopefully we'll have some joy. Now this is just me putting together her enclosure. I used a 25 by 25 by 25 spider shop enclosure. I would like to use something a little bit taller, but if I'm honest, I just didn't have anything at the time. I wasn't actually planning on buying these because I didn't know they were there. And then I was sent a message to let me know, and it was a bit of an impulse buy, if I'm honest. But there was just no way that I could not get my hands on the opportunity to try breeding them. So, like I say, we've got some branches and some twigs to give her some good hanging points, a little bit of moss down this front, and here I'm just adding some springtails and some leaf litter in there, not to make it bioactive, but I am going to keep this mossy area a little bit damp. I say damp, I'll just overflow the water bowl, and if I'm honest, it did look a bit bare, so I had a few branches of ivy that I took from the garden, and I just put these in, and I thought if they live, I'll water them, and if they live, that would be brilliant. If they slowly die off, it's not too bad because the branches will still remain and it still gives her those hanging points that she needs to lay egg sacs or molt or anything like that, although I think she is mature, so I'm not expecting her to molt at any point, if I'm honest. Now, the male's enclosure, this is a lot smaller. Like I say, he's only going to be in this for a week, 2 weeks maximum, and then he'll be going in with the girl. So this is just something to tide him over for now. It's quite tall, it's about 5 inches by 5 inches width, and it's 12 inches tall. And we'll have a look at him going in there now. You see, he was very still to begin with. But once he actually got himself moving, he was quite active, just like the female earlier, and he was quite happy just to come up over the side and go into his new enclosure, as you'll see now. Now I am sorry, I didn't realise that this wasn't actually in focus, but you do get a good idea of what he tried to do. A little stroll around the outside, and then he went down and he just sort of settled on this branch for a minute or so. Now this is actually video footage. I know it looks like I'm zooming in on a photo, but again you get a good chance to see those pedipalps and the emboli on the end. So the female, rehousing her was marvellously easy.
if I'm totally honest. What I did is I just opened the tub and let her come onto my hand, pretty much as she'd done earlier. And then, as you can see there, she just went up onto the branch on her own. And as I was settling the camera, she settled herself. And we get a nice close-up look at her there. And again, from a slightly different angle. She must have spotted that that little area was quite dark pretty soon, because she went straight up there, and as you can see, she's just moving around, working out whether it's a good spot or not, and then she makes that decision that, yeah, it is, and she's just going to hang there, and she's just going to settle, and you'll see here she brings those legs together. And I think this is absolutely awesome the way they do this, so it looks like they've only got 4 legs. And she will just sit like that for probably the next few days, and then hopefully she'll build a little net. I might be able to get it on camera and we can get some feeding clips from her. So here's some photos. This is the male. You see a full length sort of pan of him, absolutely beautiful little male there, and you can see the markings on his back and down his carapace. And then here we've got the female, who is still in pretty much the same position. This is an hour or so later, well hidden in amongst those branches, and we do manage to, again, we get a nice little pan shot just to finish things off. So yeah, that is the Deinopis cornigera, and hopefully we'll get a parent soon.
How's about that then, eh? So she'd only been in, I think she arrived on Tuesday. No, in fact she'd have been posted out on Tuesday because of the bank holiday. So she arrived on Wednesday, and I got home from work on Friday night to find her laying that egg sac. Now, I was a bit gutted the following morning because I noticed that the egg sac had just been left on the floor at the back. Later on in the night, she'd been trying to move a leaf. It was quite a big leaf, if I'm honest. Possibly it looked like she was trying to use it to hide the egg sac. Anyway, come the morning, I couldn't find the egg sac anywhere, so I got her enclosure out and I managed to spot it down the back on the corner on the floor. Now, I was a bit gutted because I thought she'd discarded it, but I put a photograph and asked the question on the True Spiders International group that I mentioned earlier, and a couple of people have come back to me and said that it's not uncommon for them to just lay their egg sacs and leave them on the floor. My past experience with the phantom sacs I had from my old one, where they were always hung up in the sort of in the scenery, so to speak. But yeah, apparently they can lay them on the floor, so the advice I've been given is basically forget about it for the next 3 months, and we'll just see what happens. In the meantime, I've got that male. Now, it did say that he was mature. I'm pretty sure now, having a proper close look at him, I think he's still a sub-adult, so probably another molt to go before he'll be ready to pair with her. But once he is ready, he'll go in that enclosure and hopefully we'll get some more egg sacs. If that one's viable, then there's every chance that we'll have slings from 2 different bloodlines as well, which will be really good. So yeah, fingers crossed everything goes well. It's going to be an interesting couple of years if everything works out, and hopefully myself and other people that I know have got these will be able to get a nice little breeding program established here in the UK, so we don't have to rely on these imports that come in once in a blue moon anymore, like. So yeah, anyway, I've waffled on, I've gone on for ages, but as you can tell, I'm quite excited about these. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you've hung around till the end, it's massively appreciated. You know, everything's downstairs if you want to like, comment, subscribe, share. Everything that helps the channel grow is absolutely massively appreciated, and you're all awesome. Thank you very much. I'll see you all soon. Cheers. Ta-ra.